Morning, guys. It's Friday morning, and the boys are still asleep. So I just thought I'd get on here before everybody wakes up and the craziness of the day ensues. Because I, I mean, you guys know, so much of my life and a part of my current and continued journey is about weight loss and, just figuring out how to deal with my struggles every day and things like that. Um and you guys know, I've been really working towards a goal and things like that and whatever, but I always am, so that's like not like out of the ordinary. But I went and got my hair done when I was in Dothan, and the guy who did my hair, his name was Max. He did such a great job. Like I really like what he did with my hair. um but we just like he's a good Christian, and we just kind of got to talking about, just kind of like weight loss and the struggle of it, and from like a faith perspective. And it's just, to me, it's so interesting. Especially in the Christian faith, but like just in life, that how somebody can say something to you that is so plain and like ordinary, and not something like super profound when you really break it down and think about it, but it resonates with you on such a deep level that it feels like life-changing and profound. And so that's what happened to me on Friday. Or no, I'm sorry. What day was it? On Tuesday. I was in his chair, and he's lost 45 pounds, and we were talking about weight loss, and we were just talking about how, a lot of times I think people are always like, "Oh, I don't have enough willpower. I don't have enough willpower," and blah blah blah. And like I need to just make, better decisions, or I need to this, or I need, and really and truly, the more I do this, the more I'm starting to realize that really it's really not about the willpower part, because the will is a part of like the mind and like the spirit, and those areas really, like, again, I'm going to preach to you just a little bit. So if you're not interested in this, this is like a faith-based thing, but I really wanted to share this and felt like I needed to. So anyways, basically, I believe that the biggest struggle in weight loss is in the flesh. And that because the flesh is just weak. It's just weak, and the mind and the spirit really are where God, the Holy Spirit, Jesus, where they all reside. So it's like the devil is going to like really try to tempt you, not in your mind or in your spirit, because although he can, it's almost like that's a much harder sell. You know what I mean? That's a much longer shot for the devil. And I just feel like, the devil's going to take the cheap shot, the easy jab, the he's going to hit you in the area that has the highest chance for a return for him. And so he just made this, he just said, think about it. He was like, the devil didn't try to, now this is really oversimplifying this, and I'm still kind of fleshing out how I feel about it. So I'm just going to kind of give you the abridged version, and I'll probably still talk about this like as I continue. But I was sitting, in the chair, and he goes, yeah, he was like, the devil, he's like, think about it. In the beginning, in the garden, he was like, he didn't try to tempt Adam and Eve, in their spirit, like try to make them gods, or try to, do anything like that, because they were already really kind of experiencing the fullness of God and who God was, because they were with God, like physically, He tempted Eve through her stomach and with food. And yes, it's a more broad, people are like, oh, well, the apple really represented knowledge, and he tempted them with knowledge stuff. And I do agree with that. But if you simple and dumb it way down, he knew that their flesh would be weak, that her stomach, he could tempt her by the beauty of the perfect fruit, of the way it would taste, of like a very basic like almost primal desire through the stomach. And I was just like, oh wow, and that was like, okay, like I never really thought about that, but I was like, wow, that's really true. Like this struggle, about food and the way we desire it, and it's less about willpower and temptation and more about that area of our flesh, of our stomach that just wants to devour things. It was so interesting to me. Then he was like, and then later on, the next major temptation in the Bible is when Jesus was in the desert and the devil didn't try to tempt his spirit or his mind. He tried to tempt him with food straight for the belly, because it worked one time. Why wouldn't it, work again? And I thought that was like, I was just like, all of a sudden for me, it was just like all these things just started to like click in my spirit and even in my flesh. And I was like, oh wow, this is just so much more than just a matter of will or a matter of, I just have to make these choices. It is also an awareness that my stomach is going to try to betray me, or the devil's going to try to attack me in an area that is so easily betrayed and so easily fooled and so easily weakened. And I don't know how there's like even a way to change that so much, but the awareness of that for me was, it was like I felt it was like a life shift, and I haven't felt in this area of my life a big breakthrough like that since I was on the ranch. It's been years, and there was just something inside me that just kind of sat up and like was like, oh yes, oh my gosh, yes, like and such almost like a freedom that came with that for me, that even though it may not change anything as far as like how I go about doing things, but what it does change for me is the awareness of that it's not a matter of having to have stronger willpower. It's all of a sudden being like it's like you all of a sudden are aware of the enemy's tactics, and you're aware of how he's coming for you. At least for me, that's what resonated with me. I was like, oh, it's like now I know where the battle is. Now I know what I need to be aware of, how I need to fortify, how I need to pray, how I need to stay before the Lord in this area of my life. And that for me, I like got so choked up and teared up, and every time I think about it, it's like I get goosebumps, and like and a lot of you are probably like, Olivia, we've heard this, like this is not new information, but for me it felt so new and so, I don't know, that like, the original sin was started. And again, and all the sins, pride, betrayal, and, all that stuff came flooding through that one moment of when her stomach, she was tempted through her gut, through her stomach, through her flesh, that it all poured from there. And that was the first sin. It was with food. I just, for me, it was like, and he didn't go for Adam, because some people are tempted like with food and some people aren't. This is a whole nother side to it. I think it's so interesting. Somehow he knew that Eve would be weaker in this area. Maybe, that also goes back to, we all struggle in different ways, but I just thought, wow, that was so, I don't know, it was profound. So I've been just trying to get up a little bit early every morning and just have some quiet time and just start to really seek that out. I'd love to like write it down and flesh it out in a way that maybe I could share in a more comprehensive, more tangible way. And I really believe that the Lord is going to show me that and show me how I can share that with others. But I just thought I'd share that here first because it's been on my mind. And instead of being discouraged by that, I've been so incredibly lifted by that. And now it's like, even like when I taste food, like I'm trusting that the Lord, I've been asking God to like really allow me to taste the things that are good for me and have a desire for those things. And that doesn't mean I'm never going to eat anything, like a cupcake or anything again. No. But again, I don't want to eat it through temptation. I want to eat it through choice and through and still okay to have a desire for those things. It's not that, it's not about condemnation. It's about freedom and about awareness and about taking power over an area of my life that is weak. So that's that. I just thought I'd share this morning. I hope that encourages somebody. I hear a little baby.